Tonight I'm sharing a few channel updates. Stay tuned to find out all about them. Hello everyone, my name is Misty Nicole with thelady-prefers-to-save.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. Listen, I know I have been gone from the channel for several weeks and there's been a lot going on, and I just wanted to hop on and share a few things about what's been going on and then get into this week's meal plan and meal prep schedule and a few notes for what's coming up this week on the channel. To begin, the second half of March was absolutely bananas for me at home, and there's just so much that went on, but I'll just give you a few of the highlights from the reel, including we escaped illness at home for months, and then all of a sudden, right before spring break, both my husband and daughter were very, very ill, and so we had to go to the physician and miss a few days of school and things like that, but everyone is thankfully on the mend. We also had an issue with me last week. I had a severe allergic reaction and had an asthma attack for the first time in a very, very long time and had to see a physician, and so that was very trying. I also had an emergency situation in my area where a friend from a former homeschooling co-op, her home burnt down last week, and so a lot of people came together to help her in transition to a new home and to get funding together for her, and so that was something that I needed to take care of. I also had been working on several projects in my community in terms of volunteering. Many of you may know that in my previous life, I was an attorney. I'm no longer practicing. I am licensed, and I work with a nonprofit in my area from time to time, and over the past month have worked on several briefs that needed my attention, and so it was a pleasure for me to be able to do that. Also, in the past few weeks, I have not been able to catch up on my Body Boss method updates. I'm still working the system, but I have reworked it in many areas. I'm no longer doing it 3 days a week. I'm doing it 2 days a week and focusing on yoga and Pilates for the third day. I really needed to be more intentional in working past some of the hip and sciatic pain that I had. It was becoming a little too much for me to do, including some of the lunges. I'm still working the method. It's still going to take me a little bit longer to finish my goals in terms of that program, but I am still focused on doing it this season, and every other Sunday I will be continuing through April and half of May until I am finished with the program. Thus far for the month of March, I lost a total of 11 pounds and 1 1/16 inch in reduction for my tricep, bicep, neck, inner and outer thighs, and even my ankle. And just last week when I did my final seamstress tape measurement, I had lost a 1/16 of an inch from my ankles, so not sure if that was water weight or not, but I will certainly take it and am ecstatic to have had that progress. I will list in the description bar below Roxanne's channel, Roxanne from The Guy's Life, who has also been on this journey for weight loss and health and wellness and introduced me to the Body Boss method, is also on a similar journey, so definitely check out her progress in terms of health and wellness this week as well. Then, of course, there is my 2018 No Spin Challenge, which has been absolutely bananas for the month of March and kind of got sidetracked in many, many ways. And so I'm just going to give you a brief detailing of how that went down. First, of course, we had an illness, as I mentioned, with flu at home, and so we had to see a physician and get prescriptions for those. My husband also had an emergency dental appointment in which we had to, again, purchase prescriptions for that, as well as a copay. And of course, the copay for my visit that I previously mentioned just a minute ago, and so those were unexpected expenses that were taken out of a slush fund for health care, but still had to be paid. Also, we had to, as I previously mentioned 2 videos ago, I needed to replace the window in my front office, which had been hit by a wonderful child in our neighborhood, and so I had to pay the deductible to have the window repaired. Of course, another expense, but unavoidable, has to be done as a homeowner. We also needed to replace 2 tires on my husband's vehicle, and so that was unexpected, had to be paid for. We also, as I mentioned, helped a friend who lost her home this past month, and so I wanted to donate a sizable amount to her. I'm not going to disclose what that was, but another slush fund item. We also needed to replace our Instapot because it died. It died a quick and slow simultaneous death, and that was something that I use all the time, and so I absolutely had to replace that. And so that was another expense. In addition to that, I had another light bulb go out of my lighting kit that I needed for my blog, had to be replaced. I also needed to replace some of our bedding because 3 of my beautiful fuzzy friends decided to have a huge brawl in the middle of my master bedroom bed and tore a quilt and a sham and a throw, and I mended it as best that I could, but those had to be replaced. Call it my OCD, but I just can't sleep on something that's not as pretty as it was before, and so I had to fix that. In addition, I had an impromptu trip for my husband for his robotics competition, and then he needed parts for something for his class and had to travel across state to pick up those parts because we live in the boonies and that's just not something we have here. We don't have hobby shops or Target or anything like that, so of course that was a half day's travel to accommodate. I also needed to budget in for his robotic submarine competition this past weekend, as well as the entrance fees and lunch and things so that the little one could go with him. And so all in all, that was $1,278 that had to be taken out of pocket. I also did a lot of soul searching in March and came to the conclusion that in terms of my blog and my overall influencer reach, there were a few platforms that were no longer serving my interest for my business or myself, and I decided to let those channels go. And those include Periscope, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. I just didn't find an overall use for them. I'm not really interested currently in going back into the legal field or to utilize my art history degree right now, so I did need LinkedIn. Snapchat, I use Instagram, I just don't really have a point in using it currently. And Periscope, I'm just over Periscope. And so those were the majority of the updates for the month of March for my channel, and now I want to share with you last week's food haul. And so at my local Walmart neighborhood market this week, I picked up 2 sweet potatoes, 3 pounds of bananas, a $1 package of broccoli slaw, a $2 bag of hearts of romaine, a $1 basil plant that was on sale. I also picked up a $2.50 bag of mini avocados, a pound of loose carrots that were 66 cents, 2 pears for 75 cents for both. The Roma tomatoes were under 50 cents for the 3, $2 for the asparagus, 60 cents for the cucumber. The lumpy bumpies were $2.86. It was $1.99 for the sun-kissed oranges. Also, I picked up a $1 carton of strawberries, 2 $1.38 packages of mushrooms. I also picked up a $2 package of falafel, a $2.50 package of the tofu dumplings. It was around $2.50 for the chow cheese, $2 for the hot dogs. I also was able to pick up a package of Gardein meatballs and Morningstar buffalo nuggets. There was also a special going on the silk, which is on rollback for $2 a carton. Also, they were 3 for $1 for the water, but they only had 4, so I went ahead and picked up those. And the cherry limeade was a $1 box of pancake mix. I also really like this because it had soy lectin in it, and so it was vegan compliant. I also picked up several packages of these 40-cent seaweed bites that I like to crumble on top of sushi bowls. The tomato paste was 3 for $1 and a $1.28 for chula, and 2 41-cent loaves of bread that I'm going to pop into the freezer. I'm not sure when I would use those, but more than likely for sandwiches for my husband, along with the meatballs, so he can take those, or the buffalo nuggets for lunch. I also had for $1 Ibotta savings, and so in total after rebate, I only spent $48.62 for my weekly meal plan this week, and then made juice. I'm going to start off my juice for the week with pineapple, and then I'm going to throw in a couple bags of these lumpy bumpy oranges, a few halos, and some cucumber and banana, and maybe a little bit of ginger. So now to get started. I've really been loving using pineapple as the base for my juice. It's just been really sweet and really good, and I've really looked forward to it each morning. I've also been enjoying having them in small pint jars. I find that they're a lot cheaper for me to make the juice than to buy it prepackaged, even when I was going to Sam's Club, which is pretty awesome. And then I just add everything to the Breville, just put it into different batches, and then I usually add it to a half-gallon mason jar, stir everything up, and then of course, as I mentioned, put it into small mason jars. This week I added ginger and cucumber and halos, one banana, an overripe banana that I add, a little bit of extra sweetness that I actually like. I then just make sure everything's just really stirred up and put into the containers. And this week I had a little bit of an overflow, but still pretty cool, and I'm really excited about all of my juice this week. A week's worth of pint. I also found this weekend at my local Walmart neighborhood market 2 bags of 97-cent key limes, and so I'm going to do something kind of fun with them, and I'm just going to go ahead and include it in with my weekly prep. I'm going to have them and add them to the dehydrator and jar them. And what I'm going to use them for later this year is to add some cinnamon sticks and bay leaves and have them as crock pot potpourri. I love picking out key limes, especially in the spring, and dehydrating. They usually take about 2 days to fully dehydrate, and then again I will put them in quart jars, suck the air down with my food saver, and then come the fall just add some cinnamon sticks and bay leaves, and they make wonderful crock pot potpourri. They're also great hostess gifts to give others, or just to use them for yourself when companies come over. They are absolutely wonderful and very cost effective to make. This week I also have a couple packs of strawberries and about 2 pounds of bananas that I need to eat up. I also have a quart jar of Bob's Red Mill muesli and granola that I want to eat up, so I'm going to go ahead and dehydrate both packages of strawberries and process the bananas and dehydrate them so that they, along with the granola, can be a topping for either overnight oats or for yogurt. So my husband volunteered to chop these up, and he did a great job, made them very small, and I love that because I really like the dehydrated berries kind of in Cheerios or Special K, and so that's kind of what I was going for. He got a really great dice on them. We're going to go ahead and add those to the dehydrator, and they're going to take a full 24 hours at 140 degrees, and at that point they will be good to go again for oats or putting on muesli, or for my daughter for her yogurt parfaits. And so we are going to be both having that as for breakfast, for snacks, and for a few lunches so that we can use up some of the things that are on hand in the pantry. Then in terms of my meal plan for this week, I wanted to share something a little bit different, and that is each week on my blog I have been uploading a free digital plant-based meal plan, and I will link that below in the description bar. Definitely check that out if you want a few ideas. Again, they're PDF files, free to download. Definitely give them a look. I upload them every Sunday at 10 a.m. to my blog, so be sure to check those out and see if that's something that may help you. This week, I will again be utilizing a lot of stuff on hand. I really wanted to use up some of the granola and dried fruit, and to, of course, continue with my juicing. I'm really finding that very helpful. I'm also going to be utilizing a detox tea this week. In addition to that, I really just want to focus on hydrating myself and my skin, and to really just take better care of myself moving into spring. And I'm hoping that by utilizing the healthful foods that I have on hand and just supplementing with some fresh fruits and veggies and a few frozen items, that I can really stay on track with not just my weight loss goals, but in terms of my health and fitness and wellness goals as well. That's something moving into the second quarter I really want to focus on, is a self-created holistic plan that includes staying hydrated, staying focused on eating foods that are nourishing my body and are more lasting, and also pulling more foods into my diet that are full of antioxidants and omega-3s that are also compliant to my plant-based diet. It's a huge, huge goal of mine, but I am just convinced more and more every day that plant-based eating is the way to go, and I cannot recommend it enough for anyone who hasn't tried it. Even just starting with meatless Mondays can be just life-changing. If you have health ailments, if you just kind of feel run down every day, eating a plant-based meal 1, 2, 3 nights a week may be able to make a huge difference in your life. And if you have any questions in terms of plant-based eating or meal planning, I would definitely love for you to leave me a comment below, and I would love to hear all about that. Again, be sure to check the description bar below where I will be listing the meal plan. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. Be kind to yourself and to others, and have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you so much for watching.